What is up, guys? It's Vortex TCG here, and today I'm running on very little sleep. However, I've got a deck profile for you, and it's one that you guys have been asking for quite a bit in the comments that I will put here, here, and here if there are 3 comments that have asked for this deck profile. Yep, you know what it is. It's Bagra Army. Bagra Army got a lot of support in BT11, mainly the Chikurimon, the Bagramon, and the new Lilithmon. These cards have made the deck a lot more better, and now we've got a really good end package that isn't just play 2 blockers. And if you are looking forward to this deck profile, please do like and subscribe to the channel. I'm uploading every other day, and if I don't do that, you can complain in a community tab somewhere. Let's get straight into the deck profile. Alright, and let's get into this Bagra Army deck. We're going to start off with the eggs as usual, and I'm playing 1 art. Please do not hurt me in the comment section, I will cry. We play 4 Demimeramon, probably the best egg that we have currently, because we want to draw a lot of cards and we want to discard certain cards so we can get them from certain effects. So we play 4 of this. I think when BT12 comes over, we're going to be changing over to the new purple egg. So we'll go straight into the level 3s, and the first one is the Soundbirdmon. This is pretty much the best enabler that you have in this deck. Allows you to put a purple Digimon from your hand underneath a tamer to draw 1, and then you get to save. Crucially, this is not a Bagra Army card. I know, shock, I can't believe it. They decided to hinder their own deck for some reason. I don't know why you would do that. But this essentially just means that you get to draw 1, and then when you inevitably attach 1 to the Uemana, you get to draw an additional card and gain a memory, and then you get to put this underneath Tamer as well. So basically it's kind of like 2 Digimon underneath the Tamer with 1 swing. So we play 4 of it. Then we go on to the BT10 searcher in Chuchumon. Get to search the top 4 cards, add a Bagra, and also add Uemano. And then this also has save. I guess I should explain this as well. All the inheritables are when this card effect trashes. When an effect trashes this Digievolution card, you gain a memory. So essentially, that's the controlling aspect of this deck that we'll get into when we get to the level 4s. It also has save, so it can go underneath the Tamers as well, which is rather important. Then we get onto the 4 new card in Chikurimon. Chikurimon, a really good card. It basically means that you get to delete this, look at the top 5, and then add a card with Bagra Army in its traits. The reason why this is really good is because it is straight away an enabler for your Uemane. You don't have to play this card and wait a turn to swing. It dies straight away, which means it goes underneath a tamer because it has save. So a really powerful card. This essentially becomes a 3 cost instead of a 4 cost most of the time. And that is the level 3s. Going on to the level 4s, we get onto Mad Leomon. Probably one of the more interesting cards of this deck. Essentially, when an effect adds a card to your opponent's hand, you can trash a Digievolution source underneath to then trash the same amount of cards they added. So if they add 1, they trash 1. They get to pick, but it's not that bad. You also get to Digicross this card if you use a Bagra Army card, so it becomes a 3 cost. So you always have 1 underneath when you play this card. And yeah, it's one of the better cards of the deck for sure. Then we get onto Mad Leo Armed Mode. Similar to the normal Mad Leomon, this one is when an effect adds an opponent cards to your opponent's hand. By trashing a source, you get to draw 2. This is very important because this deck has pretty big consistency issues most of the time. So having the draw 2 is very nice. It has save as well, which means you can put it underneath a tamer, and then this also has a Digicross element of Mad Leo and a Bagra Army, so you get to play this for potentially 2 on your turn, which is pretty good. I mean, most of the time you'll be playing this for 4 because you don't really want to play the Mad Leomon as well underneath this, because you want to play the Mad Leomon with this card as well, because it provides such a massive amount of value, especially on your opponent's turn. Then we get on to Troopmon. I think Troopmon could potentially be a little bit cut on this deck, like maybe running 3 instead of 4. Essentially, this card allows you to gain a memory when your opponent plays a Digimon or a Tamer, and then also you gain the memory from the source that you trash as well. So essentially you're getting 2 memory for when they play a Tamer. That could be, you know, it's pretty good. And then you also have save, so just an overall strong card, but it doesn't give you any advantage. It just pushes your opponent out of memory and to your turn most of the time. Then we play 3 Damemon. If you play this guy when on play or when digivolving, if you don't have a U, you get to play a U for free. And this is important because sometimes it's really awkward to play U, because sometimes you want to have a body on the field because this has save, so you could swing, and then you also have the U for the following turn. So yeah, I play 3 of it. I don't think it needs more, I don't think. Then we play the Twarmon. Essentially this is decoy, so if anything was to be deleted from Bagra Army, you can prevent the deletion by deleting this instead. All turns, your U and Mono can't be deleted. This is important because sometimes we have a really rough matchup against Black War Greymon X, which loves to delete our Tamers, so we make sure that we don't allow them to do that. And then on deletion, you get to play a Damemon from your trash. So this doesn't have save itself, but you're able to at least recover the cost and continue. So pretty good. And then we finish it off with 1 Lauimon. Lauimon wins games sometimes, especially, and you need it in this deck because sometimes you just can't get this final swing. So playing 1 Lauimon helps you finish the game a lot more quicker. If you watch some of the gameplay videos that I did on the channel, you know this game won me a game. So it's you need it, I think, personally. We don't play any 5s in this deck because that's not how the deck works. We play level 6s, so play 2 Lilithmon. I really like Lilithmon, actually. I think I might bump this up to 3 because I really love the consistency it brings. It allows you to trash top 4, add 2 with Bagra Army, and then put 2 underneath a Tamer. This means if you play this card for probably will be 5 memory, because you'll be putting 3 underneath this most of the time, you'll be able to basically recoup the costs back into the Tamer. And then on your opponent's turn, if you move Digimon from breeding to the out of breeding, you trash 1 to give it the effect you lose 3 memory when attacking. It's really nice because essentially it's like an ice wall effect, obviously, so it's really nice to have, and it stops your opponent from actually doing stuff, and it affects your opponent's turn straight away, because when you pass turn, they'll always want to push up most of the time. If they don't push up, they're losing advantage, so you're always basically guaranteed at least 1 trash from Lilithmon. Then we get onto Bagramon. Bagramon's really good, but I don't think it's as crazy as people think. I know some people are playing this like a 3 or 4 as their like main level 6, but for me I don't think it's that crazy. If your opponent has 1 or fewer Digimon in play, you get to look at the hand and trash a card from it. And if your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, you can place 1 Digimon underneath your opponent's other Digimon as its bottom Digievolution card. This is crazy removal, and it also allows you to control your opponent's hand, because if they get to see something like the card that enables them to go for like a massive swing turn, you can just discard it. And it's important to note that if you have 2 or more Digimon in play, your opponent does, the place 1 underneath another Digimon activates own all-turns effect, which allows them to, when an opponent's Digimon digivolves or effect places Digievolution card underneath an opponent's Digimon, by trashing one source you get to trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So not only are you getting a memory, you're also controlling the board and you're also trashing a security. Really powerful. The problem is though is that's cost of 14, and most of the time you're not like, you don't want to play this card for 8. You never do. So you only play this card really if you have like 2 Uemanos in place, because then you can stack both of those effects and then get this cost to maybe like around 4 or 6, which I think is a lot more better. Then we have the 2 Tactimon. I still like Tactimon, but I might cut this a little bit for a Lilithmon and something else. Essentially, you get to play 2 level 4s or lower with Bagra Army, and they gain blocker. And then if your Digimon would have an effect to trash a Digievolution source, you can trash underneath Tactimon itself. So Tactimon becomes the source and the other guys become blockers, and then you get to control your opponent through many effects. And they're also blockers, which also have save, which means you can gain memory from the Uemano on your opponent's turn. So I still like playing 2, but I don't know, maybe I'll cut it a little bit. I played the 1 Blastmon. I think if you were to play this card, you only play it at 1, because this is essentially you swinging for game. It has Rush, but on play, if you have 3 Digievolution cards, you get Blitz, which means you go for the swing for game essentially. This is essentially a second Lauimon, I guess. And then opponent's turn, if you ever have to be in this situation, when your opponent attacks, you can trash a source and then delete a level 4 or lower Digimon. Surprisingly powerful, because it just controls the field a little bit more, because you get to delete and then you also get to gain a memory. So it's a cool card, but you mainly use it for the Rush effect. And that is all the level 6s. Let's go on to the Tamers. Uemano, star of the show. If you place a purple card underneath this, you gain a memory and draw a card. And then the main effect that makes this deck function the way it does, you could put, if you were to play a level 4 or higher Digimon with Bagra Army in its trace, by placing up to 3 Digievolution cards underneath the under your Tamers, underneath the Digimon's cards, Digievolution cards, you can reduce the Digimon by 2 for each card placed. So these stack, so for 1 you'll be able to get 6 underneath, you'll reduce the cost by 6. For 2 you'll be able to get 12. So ideally you want to get 2 of these. I think if you get like a board of like 3 or 4, I think you're in a very easy, like a winning position. But if you get 2 of these, I think you're in a very strong position. Just the 1 sometimes is actually game winning itself. So you need to find this at any cost. If you do not have this in your opening hand, you need to find it, and you need to find it very quickly. Then we also play 2 Matashida. Sets of 3 memory tamer is pretty important in this deck, and it also helps you with some of the math when it comes to reducing costs. And also you get to add a purple Digimon card or option card from your trash to hand, and there's a lot that you probably want to recycle, so play 2 of it. And that's all the tamers. Let's get into the options. Calling from the Darkness. Yeah, this card is pretty good in this deck because you want your guys to be deleted, and then you get to put 2 guys from your trash to your hand. So this could be stuff like the level 3, so you can get more searching going. These could be like trash sources that you used for, like, you know, Bagra or Lilith. It's good recycling, and it's always, you can use this multiple times as you play multiple Matashidas as well. Then we play 4 Buzzing Fist. Reveal top 3 cards, add a card with Bagra Army, and then trash the rest, and then you get to paste a Digimon card with Bagra Army in its traits underneath a tamer. So essentially this becomes a 1 memory cost, add a card and put a card underneath, gaining you a memory and drawing a card. And the security effect is also really good. I know it says you can play a black tamer, but it's just Uemano, play a free Uemano, and you get to add it to your hand. So the card's really powerful. And to end it off, we play the 1 Astral Snatcher. I think you could potentially play more of this, but I don't want to brick on this card. You get to put 3 Digimon cards with Bagra Army in its traits from your trash underneath one of your Digimon as a Digimon card or under one of my tamers, and then if you have a Digimon or tamer with Bagra Army and its traits in play, place one of your opponent's Digimon under one of your opponent's other Digimon as a bottom Digievolution card. So essentially this is the Bagramon effect, but in a option. It's a very powerful source of removal, and it's something that you can't really scoff at. There's not a lot of cards that, you know, protect itself from this kind of effect. So that's why I'm thinking of maybe playing 2 in the deck, but at the moment I think 1's been well. It does a lot of stuff very well, allows you to put more stuff underneath your tamers, which could then trigger, which means you can get this for 6 memory potentially, and you also get to control Digimon on the field essentially. So I only play 1 at the moment, but might consider playing more in the future. Anyways, that has been my Bagra Army deck profile. I know there could be some potential changes in the future, but I think at this moment this is a really strong deck that you can be taking to your Beelzemon Cup at your local stores and hopefully win that lovely Beelzemon winner promo, which is going to be here. I'm adding more editing to this video. Great job, me. Also might be good at the Ultimate Cups, but don't hold your breath on that one. I think the deck is a little bit too slow and relies on one tamer way too much, and that's probably the worst part about this deck. It relies on one tamer, and if you don't find the one tamer, you pretty much lose. But anyways, did you enjoy this deck profile? Let me know what you guys are putting your Bagra Army decks in the comments down below, and again, if you like the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.